If you've been using ChatGPT to write copy for your website, I have bad news for you. You've probably been doing it wrong, but don't worry, by the end of this video, I'm going to show you exactly how you should be using ChatGPT to help you write the words on your website to not only help you get more business, but to also help you show up higher so more people are getting to your site in the first place. And full disclosure, a little dirty little not so secret, we've been using ChatGPT for all of our clients' websites for over 3 years now. We've never been penalized. Our clients rank at the top of the map pack and on top of pages all over the place, and our clients get actual business results. So now I know you're a busy person, so let's jump right into it with 3 use cases. And our first use case is going to be writing your SEO title and your meta description. For all the prompts we'll be working with today, we'll be using our 30-day local SEO playbook assistant. If you haven't grabbed this yet, go to 30dayseo.com, get your free playbook. It's over 100 pages, and I'll give you a link to this GPT. Go check it out. And when you're working with this today, we're going to be switching the model a couple times. By default, switch that over to auto from 4.0. We want to be using the latest model available. And for some of the prompts today, we're going to be using the thinking version. So make sure you're using the appropriate model for the task. By the way, today we're going to be featuring random company Bliss Roofing only because I see their billboards all over town. Wouldn't it be great if you could just spend a little bit more on SEO and not have to pay for all those billboards? Hey, maybe you guys should reach out to me. All right, so for our first prompt, we're using 5.1 with our 30-day local SEO playbook assistant. And what I'm doing is I'm framing the GPT. One of the big problems that a lot of people do when they're trying to get copy written by AI is they just give it a generic prompt. And when they do that, it has no grounding, no context. This GPT has been trained on basically our local SEO framework. So when I ask it to tell me how to write an SEO title and meta description per the playbook, it uses my exact verbiage and calls it SEO hotspots. I don't think I've ever heard anybody else call it that. And it says what's really important. And then I tell it to go to this site and create a title and meta description for this company. And I'm actually linking to the site. So it actually went, looked that up, and then it pulled back in results. Now, a big problem that a lot of people do when they're using AI to do SEO tasks is they don't check the results. You got to look at it. So when I look at the results here, they're not bad, but they're also not that good. So I told it to remove the brand name, add a trust signal. I'm trying to keep the character count in the parameters that we like. And then I also told it to remove the M- from the meta description because it just doesn't show up right in the meta description. And we all know that's a clear-cut sign that you're probably using ChatGPT, even though we know that M- just totally exists in English. And so it kind of stinks that that's the case. But if you use AI, you know what I'm talking about. And the last thing I did is I explained it how to output the prompt. You can do this all the time. Hey, look, now we have our SEO title and our meta description in code boxes that make it easy to copy and paste. I can just click this little copy thing here. The text is copied and I can paste it into my SEO plugin or wherever the SEO settings are for your website builder. Makes it super easy. Boom, that's use case number 1. Let's get to use case number 2. The 2026 local search ranking factors have dropped and we have updated results. They interviewed dozens of local SEO consultants, experts, agency owners, and they said, what do you guys think is most important for local SEO? Even this guy. Now, these are way down on the ranking factors, okay? We're talking 148th is frequency of GBP post. Keywords in the GB post, 160th. Quantity of GBP posts, 168th. So it's just showing you that like GBP posts aren't really that important when 187th is the lowest that it could possibly be. But that being said, one time I worked with a guy, he was in my networking group, and we did GBP work only because we couldn't access his website because he was an insurance agent. And we told him, hey, go get us some reviews. Never got us any reviews. And he got 1 review in the early days and then nothing for months. And the only thing we ever did for him after we optimized the profile in the first place is 1 GBP post per week. And you know what happened to this guy? If you've ever seen a GeoGrid before, it was a bunch of red dots. And eventually he started to get green dots right in his area. Map pack, only in his location, but it was starting to turn green only from GBP post. Anecdotal, I know, but I just wanted to point that out. So when you're doing local SEO, you have to make sure you're at least looking at these GBP posts and posting them infrequently. In the 30-day local SEO playbook, I mentioned a strategy where I talk about kind of circling around all of their services and starting off with like story about the business, blah, blah, blah. It's all in the 30-day local SEO playbook. Check it out. And so what I had to do is this time I had it use thinking mode. So it thought for over 2 minutes and it created this full post strategy right here. Now, if I wanted to make it a little bit better, I could probably say, go back through with like the 5.1 model and say, hey, just try to make the copy a little punchier, remove M dashes, things like that. But I like that it's actually telling us what to do with the button, where to link, and all that stuff. Now, it'd be nice if we could also get some images as well. Maybe not have it generate the images, but maybe some suggestions that we can pull from the images that we already have for our client. But this is a great starting place. Like, this is stuff that used to take us time because we'd probably go one prompt at a time. And I still don't encourage you to do too many prompts at a time. But I mean, we're starting to get to a point where you can do a massive amount of work in just a few minutes. And remember, the reason why this prompt is good is because we grounded it in the knowledge that's in the playbook already explaining the strategy. And then we had it research the business so it had some grounding information. If it didn't have that, these posts would suck. And that brings me to use case number 3. Don't do this. Write me a service page for a roofing company. And then it writes the service page. But which marketing frameworks are following? Which city are you in? What's your company name? Oh, look, it doesn't even know. And the nice thing is that ChatGPT is getting smart enough where it's like, hey, I kind of need more context for this to actually make sense. And sure, you can go out and you'll see other videos where people are like, let's create this mega prompt to help you create a better service page. Well, if you watch this video, you're going to find a much better and grounded framework to create the perfect service page, because we're actually using a marketing framework called StoryBrand. And so you're actually creating this really good copy. Now, let's say you have a great service page. How can you turn that into a location page? That's what use case number 3 is, by the way. I didn't say that. So first, I just started, again, 5.1 auto, so it's probably just the instant mode. And I said, what does the playbook say about repurposing service pages for location pages? Because that's what every local SEO agency does, I guarantee it. It's talking about the differences, and it talks about how I talk about V1 pages versus V2 pages. If you don't know what that means, look up the 30-day local SEO playbook and get your copy. It's free. Then I used a free Chrome extension to get a screenshot of one of their service pages. This is the one that targets Bend, Oregon. And I said, using the attached service page, print out the copy for a V1 location page for Redmond, Oregon. So that's a new location. I said, print this in Canvas so I can edit it. When you're done, add some notes on what I can do to make a V2 of the location page better. And so what I like to do is I like to create a V1 of the location page, see where it shows up in the rankings. And then over time, you make a V2 version where we add more specific features to that page. Only if we have to, because some locations, there's no competition. You can rank super high for it right away. Not so much in like an industry like roofing, but still that's important to know. And you can actually see that because it's looking at the copy on the page, all it's really doing is copying and pasting everything and adding in Redmond where Bend is. And that's really it. And it might be, sneaking in a couple other things because these are locations that are specifically closer to Redmond versus Bend, but it's doing all the stuff. It's replacing the FAQs. It's showing you what you need to do, what you need to be looking for while you're building this page. And then the best part is it went to the playbook and learned what V2 pages really need, which includes having like a Redmond specific roofing project featured, location specific testimonials, and an FAQ block, specifically adding the schema. It should be mentioning that as well. And then it's even got some other stuff. I don't know how I feel about including landmarks and things like that. ChatGPT, it does its thing. It hallucinates. That's not in the playbook, but that's fine. We have guidance now. We know what we can do. And it was all grounded in some kind of evidence. Now I'm having you use my 30-day local SEO playbook, but you can use any other playbook out there that you want. It's not that hard to make a GPT. You add it, you give it context, and you just go from there. Look, there's 2 huge mistakes that people make when they're using AI to write for them. Number 1 is they're not being specific enough. Don't tell it to write a whole service page unless you're giving it a template to go off of, which it did in that last example. Zoom into specific sections that you want to work on, and also ask for multiple copies and then work on it, iterate on it from there. The second thing is you have to give it context. If the LLM, the large language model, the thing that's behind ChatGPT or Claude or whatever tool you're using, doesn't have any context for what's going on, then you're going to get a garbage result. It's been like that since the very first version of ChatGPT. And people think now because these models are getting better, I don't have to give the context. But the thing is, it's going to hallucinate. It's going to make mistakes. And if you don't give it context, it's going to fill in blanks. If there's already evidence on the internet, it can actually be really easy. If you're doing SEO for a client, this is great. If you're doing SEO for yourself, it's okay. Create a couple documents and feed these into ChatGPT. You can upload PDFs, and that can be your starting place. For this, I just told it to do a deep dive on ThenCan Designs and its founder, Sam Sarson, report back on their EEAT, which stands for expertise, experience, authoritativeness, and trust. And it thought for over 3 minutes. I was really worried about what I was about to report back with. But what it did is it basically gave me a scorecard and said, hey, here's what you could be doing better. That's not really what I wanted to do, but that's fine for our context today. I wrote a lot of stuff, talked about local SEO Academy, how I teach other people how to do SEO and all that good stuff. And then I gave it a snapshot of our new homepage that we're working on right now because I feel like I still want to tweak the copy. And I said, here's our work in progress hero section for a redesigned homepage, knowing that our ICP is mostly established contractors as well as other local service businesses. Give me 3 options for the headline, subheader, and CTA button combos, knowing that we use the StoryBrand framework. Look at how much context I've given it. It now knows all this information about ThenCan and me. And I'm saying, please give me not just 1, but 3. Look at this. Stop competing on price. Start winning on search. I like that, right? A lot of these contractors are struggling with that. The next headline is fill your calendar with better jobs from Google. Ooh, okay, because it's not so much about getting those low ticket jobs. How do we get those high ticket jobs? And then we have real SEO for contractors who actually do the work. I can't say I absolutely love any of those headlines, but they're getting my brain to think. And you know what? That actually brings me to my final point of the video. AI is your co-writer. It is not a copywriter replacement. I even put a clause in our contracts with clients letting them know we are going to be using AI generated content and we understand the risk of doing that. And all those indemnification clauses. I think that's how you say that word. But the key and the secret is that Google has even said they don't care if you use AI generated content if it's helpful. We've always used AI generated content that has been fed context, that goes through a marketing framework. We love StoryBrand here at Then Can, and then gets reviewed by a human. There's certain things that I hear on a sales call. There's certain things that our client success manager hears on the kickoff call. There's certain things our strategist learns while digging into the business and the competitors. By having multiple eyes look at your website while we build it, while we build these service and location pages during an SEO campaign, it gives our clients a competitive edge. Just the other day, we had our quarterly strategy session with one of our clients who's a med spa. When they started working with us, they only had 3 patients per day, and now they're fully booked. 8 patients per day. Look, my team does more time doing SEO than worrying about the tracking. So I can't pinpoint whether or not all 5 of those patients showed up through Google, but I can tell you they're showing up a heck of a lot higher for their main keywords, and they're starting to show up in the map pack now. So I could take a pretty strong guess and say that at least some of those patients came from Google. If you're already using ChatGPT or Claude to write copy for your website, then make sure you get our AI search crash course and check out the prompt library. It's the first part here, and you'll have access to all the prompts that were used in this video. It's going to be the first link in the description. Check that out below. Should we be using AI to write copy for our websites? Actually, no. But should we be using AI to help us write specific parts of the copy for our website, or have it be a piece of the puzzle for writing the copy for our websites? Absolutely, 100%. You should already be doing it. And if you're not, you just learned some ways that you can start doing it better today. And by the way, if you're looking for more use cases, use ChatGPT or other AI assistants to help you rank higher in Google, then check out our last video on ChatGPT. It's in the AI search crash course, and you can also check it out for free right here on YouTube. Hopefully we figured out how to move the box over there, and I'll catch you in that one.